Yo, Mikey.
Well, we finally made it.
This is it. We're going to get into this in the stats portion of the podcast here in our season 1 finale of the Command the Commute podcast. But this is our 30th episode.
Hey, it's a nice round number. I like that.
Right? Nice round number.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to the Command the Commute podcast, specifically, like I just referenced, our last one of this season. The Super Bowl just ended. So listen to this episode slow. You know what I mean? We got a couple weeks here we're going to take off at the very least. We're going to bring it back up when there's a reason to get back.
Yeah, when there's stuff to discuss.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of off-season topics, and we're going to have some news get filtered in to get us excited between now and our next game, essentially. But, we've got the draft. We've got, which I hope to go to.
We have our fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. We're planning for it, folks. We'll see what happens. We've got free agency. We've got mini camps. I'm sure there's going to be a couple little things here and there. You and I have gone to training camp before. This year, we're definitely going to have to go to
yeah, I mean, I guess for the sake of the podcast.
For the sake of the podcast, we're going to have to commute it to training camp. We'll have a whole new set of players after free agency. That's exciting. So yeah, we're bringing it back to you, and then we're obviously going to get back into our weekly sessions here, our weekly podcasts once the season kicks back up next year. But for right now, like many of you, and I know Michael, I'm ready for this season to be officially over.
Yeah, looking forward to the break.
Yeah.
So let's get started.
All right. So in the first quarter of this podcast, we're going to get into the Super Bowl. The second quarter of the podcast, we're going to get into some of the stats. I told everybody last week we'd get into some stats about the podcast, and then we're going to finish up the second half of the pod with the Commies Awards. You can't take it from me, Mike. I'm calling it the Commies.
Yeah, I told you to work on the name, baby.
Well, it's like if Michael Scott was a part of this podcast, he'd call it the Commies and wouldn't even know that the Communist Party existed. So
right.
That's what I'm going with. We're just gonna rock it with confidence that this is the Commies. These are the Commies.
So if we get canceled, it's going to be your fault. Got it.
But if we get canceled, it'll be Dan Snyder's fault, some way or another.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what'd you think of the Super Bowl?
It was a defensive battle. I mean, I guess you could say, in a sense, I've heard that it was a boring game. Some people didn't enjoy it. I did. I mean, Seattle won and New England lost, so that's what I wanted. But Seattle had a dominant defense all year long, so I'm not surprised that it was a defensive game and that the first touchdown wasn't scored until the fourth quarter. So
yeah, it was a little bit boring for a Super Bowl, let's be honest. I did enjoy the defensive back and forth. But I would have, the Patriots, I guess they went damn near all of their drives with but I don't know how many punts in a row that they went. It was just, it got to a point where all right, get a field goal mixed in it.
They were struggling.
And even though it was a defensive game, the Patriots defense really, they didn't perform.
Yeah, I don't know
great.
if it was just the nerves of the Super Bowl with being kind of a newer team with a young quarterback, or if they weren't coached right going into a game of this magnitude. I don't know, but it did seem a little off, didn't it?
It was lopsided, let's be honest. I've been saying that the Seahawks were a well-disciplined, well-rounded team, and it showed. There wasn't a touchdown till the fourth quarter, but there wasn't a penalty till the fourth quarter either. I don't think so. There wasn't a lot to get you jumping off the couch.
Yeah.
Let's just say. And I was asking you, just prepping a little bit here about a half hour ago, what commercials do you remember? And it's none really. The Dunkin' Donuts Good Will Hunting one was decent.
And the Budweiser
There's
Eagle commercial.
Yeah, and like outside of that, the commercials were kind of lame.
Yeah.
The Cliff Booth sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm a big fan of Quentin Tarantino.
That was the only, we were talking about movie trailers. That's the only one that I can recall from the Super Bowl, but we already knew that Marvel wasn't going to run anything. So
yeah, but I know there was a couple other movie trailers, but none that really stuck out to me. Maybe I was socializing and just my eyes didn't get drawn over to it.
Well, there was a lot of socializing at the party we were at, and not so much game watching. But
I'll tell you, if there was a game worth watching, that wasn't a bad place to watch the game either.
Right.
You know, we had the option to. It's just our eyes didn't really get drawn that way. Now, we have to talk about it. The halftime show.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to talk about it. What are your thoughts? I'll give you mine, but I already know you have a strong opinion on it.
I mean, I think we're in agreement.
Yeah, it sucked
on this particular topic.
It sucked, but I want you to tell the people your opinion. That's why they're listening. You're the outspoken one here when it comes to shit like this. It sucked. Let's be honest. If you spoke Spanish, and if you're a fan of Bad Bunny prior, then you probably enjoyed it. But if you didn't know him and you don't speak Spanish, it was
right. And that's why in the moment I said that it was the worst halftime show in my lifetime, which is 42 years. And it's not that I'm not a fan of him or whatever. It's just that you couldn't understand it. So it wasn't enjoyable to, I guess you could say, the average American. It just wasn't enjoyable. Okay? It just wasn't. You couldn't, they were all Spanish songs, and we couldn't understand. We didn't know his songs and understand the lyrics, so we couldn't get invested into the music. But I'm
not hating on the guy. No. He was good in Happy Gilmore too.
And a
couple SNL skits.
The setup that they had. The setup that they had on the field was good.
Yeah.
And the way he moved around.
Music, not from me. Not from me. You know all those grass field that they had on there, the setup for the Super Bowl?
Those people in constant. Yeah.
I didn't realize it.
I saw that on the TikTok.
You know, I'm not going to hate on like the setup of the stage or what they did on the field or anything, because every Super Bowl is a little bit different and the artists are a little bit different, whether you got just your standard stage and they're running around on, or whether they're, you know, on wires, or whether they're running on the field. We've seen it all. So I don't care what they do for like the stage and the people and they had a wedding on. That's pretty cool, I guess.
And that was a legit wedding. It surprised me.
That's why I think it's cool.
I just figured they were extras.
Honestly, if it weren't a real wedding, I would have thought that it was just a lame little like acting thing that I didn't really get because I didn't get the lyrics. They could have been it could have been a wedding song, as far as we know.
Well, in the moment, that's kind of what I thought, that it was that particular segment was associated with the song that he was singing. But since I'm not familiar with, you know, his music.
Am I the only one to think that in the planning of this, like, did anybody throw out the idea of like the Disney sing-along, like bubble, the bouncing ball over the lyrics in English so the average American can watch it?
I don't because I don't think
Look, this is not a political podcast. No. We touched on this last time, but I can see why. I can see why people are tuning into YouTube to watch Kid Rock.
I wouldn't watch him either.
Well, that's neither here nor there, but look, you watched Bad Bunny. If Kid Rock was selected as the halftime show of the NFL, you would have watched him.
Correct.
Right, but we weren't.
But I wouldn't make a conscious. I would not make a conscious decision to change the channel.
But the views have been extremely high on it, and we're not surprised because of how much that Super Bowl halftime show sucked. And it only sucked in the sense that like the dude doesn't have one song in English, or he couldn't have came up with one song in it. I know he speaks English. So like, what the hell? I don't know. All right. Enough about the halftime show. Can you recall a favorite halftime show from the past, in your opinion? I can. I'll start. I know I put you on the spot a lot. I know. I can recall Prince. He had a really good halftime show, and then there was Eminem and 50 Cent and Dr. Dre. I enjoyed their
that was
halftime
just
show.
a couple years ago.
That was entertaining. Didn't really care for Usher. Kendrick Lamar's brought a lot of memes, and I love that. So I'm on board for his. But I was thinking because they had beef that Drake should have been this year's halftime show, just to spit the beef back at Kendrick Lamar. But I don't know nothing about.
I mean,
that
I'm
shit
not.
other than they had beef.
I don't know anything
That's what-
about that. So that doesn't mean anything.
I felt like the aftermath of the memes of last year's halftime show was cool, but this year's I haven't seen many memes. It's because nobody understands the words.
There was nothing to really meme out of it, you know.
I guess so. The only other thing, I called it when we were watching it on TV. I saw there was a stoppage of play during the game in the second half.
The streaker.
And I was
or
like,
whatever.
oh, there must be a streaker on the field.
And there was,
yeah.
yeah.
Come to find out, there was. Now, I understand why they don't show us the streaker. They try to avoid it with the camera angles and stuff. But
Well, I don't think this streaker got completely down to the.
no, just his shirt off.
Yeah, it was just.
And he had something wrote on his chest that nobody can make out in the moment, which is why you don't want to show it on national television, because if it says the F word.
Well, he got hammered
Suck
down by
balls
that
or
one New
whatever.
England player. Just
right. But I understand why they don't show, but like once they determine that, like, can't you show us him being handcuffed and taken off the field? They don't even acknowledge that it was happening in the broadcast.
They didn't even.
They don't want to promote it or get anybody excited.
Right.
But hats off to the guy that will put a $10,000 bet on if or not there will be a streaker during the Super Bowl, and then you end up streaking. Hats off to that guy if that's what he did. And if that streaker didn't make that bet, shame on him. It's a wasted opportunity. At least have a buddy make that wager. If you're going to be the one streaking, I don't know. All right. Any more thoughts on the Super Bowl or the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks? Any thoughts at all on that?
I have no desire to expand on what I've already said.
Okie dokie. All right, let's get into the statistics portion of the podcast. This is the portion of the podcast where really we're going to give a lot of thanks, because Mike and I came up with this idea for a podcast, and we did it, and we were consistent with it, and you guys have been consistent listeners. And honestly, if there was 12 of you out there, maybe we wouldn't have kept going. But a lot of you kept listening, and it was really fun to do this year. It's been fun to kind of recap and go back through.
So you're thanking all 13 listeners. Got it.
There's a lot more than 13, Mike. I know you kind of like to degrade how many people are listening, but you tell me whether or not, because I don't even know if you are aware of a lot of these stats. So
you've told me some throughout the season, but what you're about to say, I don't know what the season-long stats are.
So I have not been able to figure out quite yet the social media algorithms and things we've got, but starting from scratch, where I think I know 5 people or 6 people of the followers personally on each of the social media accounts. TikTok, we have 210 followers, and of the 10 videos I got out there, we got 1,000 likes. So we appreciate the people of the followers.
That's not bad at all.
We started that, I think, like week 8.
It was definitely like almost halfway through before.
Instagram, 240 followers. We thank you guys, all of you. Thank you so much. Instagram is where I've been posting a lot of our stories and a lot of that stuff. It's a little bit harder to grow on Instagram, I think, than TikTok. We got about the same. Facebook, I think, is my fault. I don't really post as much on Facebook. I share on Facebook, but we don't really have a lot on Facebook. But hey, if you're listening, Give us a little like on Facebook too, just for that account. All right, into the podcast stats here. Michael, we are in 8 countries. Starting at number 8, and this is in order of the amount of podcast plays.
Okay.
Sweden, Taiwan, the United Kingdom at number 6, Canada at number 5, France at number 4, Japan at number 3, Singapore. Singapore at number 2. Thank you. Yes. No. Well, he or she must be telling somebody, because there's more than 30 downloads over there and plays over there in Singapore. We've only had this will be our 30th episode, so we've got quite a following out there in Singapore.
It's exciting.
So Singapore behind the United States is our next country out there. So thank you to our Singaporean out there, or Singaporean.
Yes, there you go. Yes.
You just want me to stop guessing.
Preferably. Yeah, that would be good.
To our Singaporeans out there, please go into one of our social media accounts, or however you're listening to this podcast, just leave us a comment and tell us what you're referred to as over there. Is it a Singaporno, a Singaporean, a Singapornish? Maybe they're Pornish.
No.
Okay. All right, let's get to the United States. Let's go state by state here, Michael. We are.
I don't think we have that kind of time. Can we just do it by region?
This is our season finale, man. Look, you're along for the ride so today. They want to hear this stuff. So, number 8, we've got Florida. Number 7, we've got Texas. And I have communicated with several of our Texans out there. Thank you for, and a lot of them are Redskins fans out there in Texas, just looking for somebody like us, because they don't have many Redskins fans down there to communicate with.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that they would.
I've told you this before. The Washington Redskins / football team / Commanders fan base talk about the football team over 1 year throughout an entire lifetime. We talk about our football team more than any other fan base. That is a true fact that I saw on the internet, so it must be true, Michael.
Right, because everything that's on the internet.
Number 6 is Georgia. Number 5 is Virginia. Number 4 is New Jersey. A lot of people from New Jersey.
Okay.
Number 3 is Pennsylvania. Number 2 is the District of Columbia, which we love to see that. And number 1 is Maryland.
The great state of Maryland.
The great state of Maryland.
There we go.
So, all right, the next we're getting into the statistics here. Across all platforms, we have 150 downloads to a device. So when people are getting on Apple or Spotify or Amazon Music or however else you're listening, they're downloading it to the device because they're hopping on an airplane or don't want to mess with the bad Wi-Fi service or cellular service out there. So we've 850 downloads.
And you downloaded a couple when you would re-listen to it because you were literally commuting into God's country.
I am within these stats, okay? I am within these stats for sure. And then add one because I listen to it now as we're saying it out loud in live.
And see, admittedly, I am not much part of those stats because I just do it live and I don't need to. You
come in here and you just do it.
Yeah.
We have 2.4. Oh no, what am I saying? 2.4 thousand. That doesn't. 2,400 plays across all platforms.
Okay.
So that includes the downloads, but 2,400 plays across all platforms. 60% on Apple, 30% on Spotify, 10% other. And none of these include those that are listening to this on YouTube, and we thank those on YouTube. But you're not in these stats. Thank you. Spotify. Now, just in terms of the stats that I can get through Spotify, Mike, we have We have some loyal listeners out there. We
How
have
loyal?
17 people.
17.
We
you
have
say.
17 people where we are their top 10 show on Spotify. So when they log on to Spotify, whenever they're listening to a podcast, top 10, they're us,
Wow.
right?
They must not get
For
out much.
13 people, we're a top 5 show. And for 7 people out there, we are their number 1 show. For 7 people out there. And we thank you guys so much. I think one of them is
that
me.
is dedication of those.
I think
7
one of them
people.
is probably me because I listen on Spotify. So
I mean, when I
just
listen,
if you
it's on Spotify. I will tell
Do
you.
you listen to any other shows on Spotify?
No.
Okay. So that leaves
Because my commute to work is like 15 minutes. Like
five other people love us so much that they listen to us more than Joe Rogan or anybody else out there. Kevin Sheehan, Rick Doc Walker, the sports junkies, all the other podcasters out there. We're going to narrow it to at least 3 because one of them's got to be my mom. No, she doesn't know how to work Spotify.
So we went from 7 down to 3 or 4.
Yeah, but who gives a shit? Thank you guys so much for listening. Now, here's what we've learned through diving through some of these stats. 55% of you press play within the first 24 hours of us putting out a podcast. And the reason behind that is because you're listening when we go to the game. Or
they're commanding the commute right with us, yeah.
Right. So next year what we're going to do, because we've gotten some feedback, next year we're going to add an episode throughout the week. It's going to be a short guy. It's going to be a recap to the game that we just went to. Now, a lot of people said you should just do it on the way home from the game. But
that's my time.
Yeah, I ain't doing that. We're exhausted at the end of these games, just trying to book it on the way home. We're listening to...
I'm sorry, but I just don't have the strength to do an episode right after the game. Okay?
No, well, and especially after a season like this where we lost damn near all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
want to think about it.
You don't need social media videos of me crying on the drive home. Okay?
I don't want to think about it. But I felt it important to finish up, or at least add these stats into our season finale, so the people that are listening know that you are part of this community, and we love it if you help us grow as we get into season 2. But for the rest of this episode, we are getting into our first. I'm so excited about this.
I know you are.
We're getting into our first annual
Commie.
It's the Commies Awards. It is the Commies Awards.
Tonight is the
Commies,
the annual employee awards night here at
Command the Commute podcast.
And this is everybody's favorite day. Everybody looks forward to it because, a lot of the people here don't get trophies very often. Like
Mike, Bob.
I mean, who's going to give Kevin an award? Dunkin' Donuts. Plus, bonus, it's really, really funny.
All right, the Commies Awards. We're going to pretend like I didn't just break my drinking glass on.
I wasn't even going to acknowledge it, but...
I did. All right. But what a way to start off the commies with a broken glass in my office. But all right, the first award of the podcast. I know you're all
silent drum roll.
Yeah. The first award is going to go the We Were There Award, Michael.
That's a good way to start.
Our nominees for the We Were There Award. And this award goes, or the nominees basically are, we were there, we saw it, you weren't, so you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So the Art Monk halftime celebration of his Ring of Fame, or I should say jersey retirement.
And they had a pretty cool laser light show during on the field.
Well, that is our second nominee, the light show, and the fact that we sat in the club level pretty much all season long, ate the free food.
For what we paid for it. By God, I'm going to enjoy every inch of those seats. Okay.
The third nominee goes to the Donald Trump flyover. If you weren't there, you didn't see it. You don't know how far Air Force One was, or how close it was to.
Because that was the one game we were at the 400 level, but it really felt like you could reach.
Oh, you were sitting 400.
Oh, that's
I was
right.
sitting 300.
That's right. Yeah,
I believe that was week 10, the Lions game.
that's right. It was the second game that Wendy came.
Yes.
To.
Yes. Yeah. And then the final nominee, and what we'll just go ahead and tell everybody, is the winner of the We Were There and You Weren't award goes to the national anthem, the American flag. We were on the field week 3 for the Salisbury alumni game against the Raiders. We came away with a 41-24 W. I mean, I should just leave it at that. We won 41-24, and we got to go on the field.
Yeah, I mean, that was a one. We said it.
I stood right next to Max Crosby.
And, we said it when we were there going through it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we may never get to do again. But it was just, it was awesome. It was awesome.
To be behind the scenes. We also got...
And no joke, that flag's heavy as fuck.
Oh, my God, yeah. And it's so weird. Ever since that time being on the field and carrying the flag, every time I watch another game and I see the national anthem,
and their piddly ass, like flag that's like
anybody else is just looking at their flag and be like, "Oh my God, it's huge!" And I'm like, "Their flag's only 20 yards. Their flag's only 30 yards. Whatever." But. Yeah, what a great game. So the We Were There award goes to the National Anthem American Flag award, where we did get a flyover that game too. So go back through our social media and look at that.
Because I remember standing there and making sure that I looked up for the flyover as much as I could.
Yeah.
While trying not to get yelled at by the field sergeants that were telling us not to screw anything up.
And that leads us right into our next award, which is going to be kind of our Washington-themed award, which is going to go to our Sayonara Sucker Award, which there wasn't a lot of contenders. There wasn't a large amount of nominees, which we won't get into. But our winner for the Sayonara Sucker Award for the Washington Commanders goes to our good old kicker, Matt Gay.
Yeah, kicking was atrocious this year, so well-deserved.
Sayonara Sucker. He's not going to be a player that I'll miss.
I don't think many would.
No. And we'll leave it to that.
Yeah, let's move on.
The next award that we're going to go into here is going to be the Snap Crackle Pop Award, the injury of the year. And for those of you that have followed along all season long, you know that there's not a lot of injuries up for the nominees here. I guess we could go with that horrible injury that we saw to JD5, but I just really don't even want to talk about that a whole lot. But the injury of the year has got to go to foot facing wrong direction. His foot was facing the wrong way.
I saw the replay.
His foot was facing the wrong way. It should be put on the injury report. Foot facing wrong direction.
1 week later.
I don't remember what the exact injury was, but
I'll tell you what the injury was.
what was it? Because I missed
Kind of
it.
like Tyreek Hill. His foot was facing the wrong direction. This is the second time.
1 week later.
Dart pressure up the middle, throws tipped, and it's incomplete. Eagles came free on a stunt up the middle. I think it was Zach Bond that time. was on the coverage, and now Scadaboo was slow to get up. Oh, no.
His ankle. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Time out for injury.
Yeah, I was devastated. It's my boy, man. So, seeing him go down and obviously, like, reacting to what happened, and that sucks. It's the worst part of this game.
Feel absolutely terrible for the young man. Obviously, you saw it, or it looked bad. You feel for anybody on your team that goes down and has a really bad injury, and I know the players feel the same way about Scat.
All right, yeah. So we had to go with foot facing wrong direction for injury of the year.
Well, I mean, it affected the entire league. I mean,
no questions about it. No questions about it. So the X-Files Award. I'm kind of excited about this one, Mike. The X-Files Award, the nominees are basically any player that used to play for us but no longer do. So there are
that's a long list. So
not as long as you'd think. I mean, maybe it's a longer list. Like once you start thinking of productive players, it gets a lot shorter. So Emmanuel Forbes is a nominee. He had 3 interceptions this year, 18 passes defended, which is pretty high up when you look across the league as far as that statistic goes. But he was a Ron Rivera draft pick.
And they were all gutted off the team. So
he was really excited about him. But if you remember back, he was one that was really small. He had a really tiny frame, but long and lanky.
Yeah.
But was known for and was basically drafted because he led all of college football in interceptions, but had a pretty decent year for the Rams. Trent Williams, you gotta nominate him. 37 years old. Another dominant year for him. Did have some injuries sprinkled in there, but
under a different owner, he might still be with our team.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? Chase Young had a decent year, actually, all things considered. Was injured early on, started for 12 games. He had 10 sacks, led the Saints in QB pressures, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, and ended up having a defensive touchdown for the Saints.
Good on him.
So good, yeah. Good on Chase Young. I hope he has a long career. It just the timing, the effort, the age, maybe variety of different things.
Rivera's, many different things. Yeah.
Whatever. Kirk Cousins, 8 games played in relief for Penix. He threw for 1,700 yards, 10 touchdown passes thrown, and 5 interceptions on those 10. So,
and for all that, he's about to get cut.
Yeah, man. He'll. Would you be shocked if he went to Minnesota?
No, I think the wisdom has him going to Minnesota. Actually.
Well, are you ready for the winner? Did a little drum roll, please.
Yeah, hit me.
Cameron Curl. He did not miss a defensive snap all season long. Recorded 122 tackles. He had 2 sacks and 2 interceptions, and was graded very, very high across all the boards, and playing for the Rams. And obviously, we know how far they made it in the playoffs, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
So the winner of the X-Files Award for the Command the Commute podcast goes to Cam Curl, and I
with
enjoyed
those
him
stats,
on,
I think it's well deserved.
Yeah, I enjoyed him on our team. He was more of just like a salary issue. It was like somebody's always going to pay you a little bit more for your services when you outgrow that current contract, right, depending upon who you got. But I wish he was still on our team. So, the next award is going to be the Foot in Mouth Award. Now, the Foot in Mouth Award, Michael, was pretty much you and I were nominated for every nominee in this category all season long. And I can count a number of times I wish I put my foot in my mouth and I know based upon our text messages exchanged after the podcast, there's been several times you wished you would have put your foot in your mouth. But the winner goes to me, you, and Pop for our week 0 season's greetings podcast.
Yeah, we were full of optimism.
And this is when we were making our preseason predictions. And for those of you that have not listened to that podcast, this is the award winner.
I got a loss against the Packers, right?
Loss against the Packers.
I got a loss against the Cowboys. I got a loss against the Broncos.
Yep, that's 3.
I got a loss against the Eagles.
That's 4.
That's 4. All right, there it is. So I'm off on my prediction as far as the record, but I stand pat at 13-4.
I agree. 13-4. Mike's got us at the same record as last year. 12-5. Is 13-4? Is that the number 1 seed in the NFC?
Number 1 seed.
Home field advantage. We got the tickets, Mikey.
Hey, we're going to be there regardless. Can't wait.
We're going.
Okay.
We're going. Okay, so there are our season predictions. We will reference back to these picks as the season goes along. So yeah, that's a good foot in mouth.
Yeah, but we had, after last season, how could we not think what we thought then? It just didn't turn out the way any of us clearly had thought that it would. So,
well, I've got a buddy out there, and he knows who he is, but he texted me after listening to that podcast and thought that I was crazy.
But I was closest to what our actual record was. It was just inverted.
Okay, that's a foot and mouth moment right there. So
yeah,
congratulations to us.
There's at least one listener who will enjoy that comment.
Sure. Here. All right. The next award we're going to give out is our Don't Come Back Player of the Year.
Yeah, we talked about this one.
I'm excited about this one. The Don't Come Back Player of the Year. There was several candidates, and I wish I would have called it something a little bit different, because the nominees, one of them was a play. So the tush push, don't come back.
Well,
But
that's
it's not
not
a
going
play.
anywhere.
But it's not a player.
Right.
And then I had Pete Carroll as a nominee for the don't come back, but he's not a player, But as far as the don't come back player of the year nominees, I had Phillip Rivers. Really enjoyed him.
Yeah, I mean that was a highlight.
I really did enjoy
of the
him.
season. Really,
it was a fun storyline watching him come in, and it was fun rooting for him and seeing him swinging around. And I love his sound bites and everything like that. But don't come back. Don't come back, Phil. Come back as a coach, which is why I think I'd like him in the league in some capacity.
but he's not the winner of this award.
But he's not the winner for that fact, because we do want him to come back.
Yeah,
just not as a player, right? So the winner of the Don't Come Back Player of the Year goes to Russell Wilson.
Hands down the right to say.
Don't come back.
Yeah.
I think you could have made a case for Aaron Rodgers as a nominee if you are of the mindset of, like, if you're not an Aaron Rodgers fan, right?
But
I'm not.
No,
an Aaron Rodgers
you
fan.
can't make that argument, because the on the field play doesn't even compare.
He's going to try to come back. You watch.
Aaron Rodgers can still play. Russell Wilson, a little rough. I think it's just time to sit down and
He's going to be an Arizona Cardinal. That's my off-season prediction.
Well,
this might be a flip.
I guess
he might.
I
decide
guess
to call it quits.
they just don't want to go anywhere next season. That no.
You watch.
Yeah. I'll watch them do what they've done every season for like the past 20 years. Nothing.
So Russell Wilson, the don't
But hey,
come
they're not
back.
Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly. Russell Wilson, the don't come back player of the year.
Dink.
Congratulations. The Retire a Redskin Award. I was excited about this one, so much so we're giving it out twice. The mindset here is, you should retire a Redskin. And Ryan Kerrigan, he retired a Redskin. He is now retiring a Commander. He's recently been laid off of his duties as a defensive line coach or defensive line assistant coach or assistant. I don't know. But
when you have when your defensive coordinator goes, like, they gut the entire staff and the new people bring in their own people,
It's pretty much, yeah. So this is the guy you got that comes with the building. We appreciate your services, but no longer needed.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll give you a great.
We'll validate your parking.
So, but I bet he can still work out there. But I wish the best to Ryan Kerrigan, as well as his co-award winner here is Zach Ertz. I hope he can make a comeback.
I do too.
And if he does make a comeback, I hope it's with us.
I would like it to be, I think, but I get the feeling that the team wholesale is going in a different direction, at least with that position. So if he makes a comeback, I don't think, unfortunately, it will be with us. As much as he wants to play for us again, I just don't see it.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. His contract was up, so nobody else is going to sign him. So if he wants to play again, we're going to be his first call. But he'll come in week 8 or for a playoff push, right? If necessary, right? One of these signings in. This is like he had that devastating injury last year, still been in recovery mode, looking to make a comeback, didn't want to hang it up on that note. I respect that. But if he does decide to hang it up,
what a career.
He doesn't owe it to anybody to keep playing unless he wants to truly keep doing that. So Zach Ertz is our Retire a Redskin award winner. Leads us to our next one here, which I'm excited about, which is the third Mike Award, which goes to our best guest moment. We've had plenty of those this year.
Yeah, we've really dragged along some unsuspecting victims.
That's a great way to put it, man. That is such a great way to put it.
Like, one of your nominees didn't even know he was on the podcast.
Right, yeah.
So,
a lot of our friends and family has been along for the ride with us just because, we're doing it. So if you're coming, you're doing it too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'll give you the list of nominees here. We'll start with Laura Talks Turf Toe. She was a return guest on the pod several times this year, but the one conversation that came to me off the top of my head was when she was trying to explain to us turf toe, and it made sense and it didn't make sense all at the same time. Yeah. And coming from a nurse, I don't know. So it's the ligament. It's like the ball of your foot there. Yeah. It's that ligament there. It goes the wrong direction. It's like a hyperextended big toe, essentially.
Exactly. And the listeners can go back to that episode in the off season. And
we appreciate Laura being on the podcast several times. We appreciate her Steelers take, and we've been referencing she's the one that's got to be planning this Pittsburgh draft trip. If we're going, she's planning it.
Yeah. So I don't know what's been planned.
But really curious about Mike McCarthy and her thoughts on him. I haven't really been able to ask her those thoughts.
I think we can safely say she is absolutely thrilled.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yes.
That surprises me. I thought that she would have been more of a younger coach that's going to be there for the next 25 years, as opposed to a guy that's going to He ain't got 25 years left to coach.
I think she is absolutely thrilled to have him as a head coach.
Why? Because he's a Pittsburgh guy?
And has nothing to do with the fact that his previous job was as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I think she's just absolutely thrilled. Hometown boy coming home.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
Of course I am. she doesn't want him because he's used to be the Dallas head coach, guaranteed. We'll have to get her on an episode and she can air her grievances on that. But
the next nominee goes to Tom's surprise commute when we drug Tom along.
That's what I was talking about.
Which week was that?
No, that was the away game because we went to
we went to Kelso's house.
Yeah, but which game was that?
Was it week 6? No.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was week 5. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That was a great podcast.
But he didn't know he was on the podcast till we pulled in his driveway. We were already what, 15 minutes in?
Yeah. And of course, having him on for Can't Lose Locks and going through the picks was a great time. The next moment goes to Mom when she said she liked Konkowski.
The Conk show, yeah.
Yeah, she liked Conk. And when I was like, what? Gronkowski. She like Gronk. Yeah, Gronk. Yeah. You know him, right? Yeah, everybody knows Gronk, but his name is Gronk, not Conk. It's a classic moment this year. And then the winner.
Hey, if I'm the Lions, I'm out for revenge. We did a good job missing that little fender bender there. Woo! This van weighs a little bit more than those cars, so I am glad we didn't hit them. This was the podcast that would have gave us 1 million views if we got in a wreck just now. Oh. Okay. We're good, people. Sorry, that was
Clip that from Mom.
that was really close. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, David Montgomery, Gibbs. You've got Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball.
I knew there was going to be an episode where we almost wrecked the car.
I mean, it was bound to happen.
Better knock on wood. I can't afford for us to get in a wreck.
No.
On the road. Because, trying to make an insurance claim, they find out we got a podcast, they won't cover it. It'll be a whole mess. I'll be coming to you for this shit.
Good luck.
All right, folks, 2 more awards left. Both very similar in nature. They're going to go to a Commanders player, the Commander-in-Chief Award, which I'm basically putting the nominees out there as the best representative of our club out there. Couple candidates out there because we've got a handful of good representatives. We got a lot,
especially now under the new ownership. Yeah,
a lot of really talented, good leaders. That can back it up on the field and in the locker room and in just how they conduct themselves. Just a lot of really good young men. And I think DQ's his name's got to be thrown in there as a nominee because he's steering the ship. The next nominee I was thinking of was Tressway. He's been around for such a long time.
And they just extended him.
Yep, they just extended him. So he's going to be back, our lone Pro Bowler out there, which for those that listened to last week's podcast, we messed up. That either it was previously recorded.
Oh, yeah.
It was either previously the Pro Bowl. It was previously recorded during the weekend or we just messed up because that shit came out on like Tuesday or Wednesday.
It was,
when do we record? Tuesday night?
Yeah, and that same night, a couple hours later, is when they were airing it on ESPN.
That's when you know when they're playing the Pro Bowl on a Tuesday.
But it had to be pre-recorded because there's no way they were playing it on a Tuesday night. It just doesn't. But anyway,
it didn't matter because I still didn't watch it.
Right. I mean, I don't think anyone did.
Still didn't
but
watch
we can
it.
move on. We spent enough time on that.
But the Commander-in-Chief award has got to go to your Walter Payton Award winner, and congratulations to him for that. But Bobby Wagner,
100%,
finishing up yet again another great season on the field. Not in the on the record book is in terms of our record, his team's record. But he finished strong. One of 3 players to finish with over 100 tackles in 10-plus seasons, which still irks me about London Fletcher. Like, I just don't understand. Like, how come everybody knew they were watching Ray Lewis, future Hall of Famer? Everybody knows they're watching Bobby Wagner, future Hall of Famer. But London Fletcher just isn't the runaway. Why is he not Hall of Famer? Is it? I just don't get it. That's a conversation for a different time. But congratulations to Bobby Wagner for all his success, and hopes that he plays another season or two with us. So leads us to our last award, Mike, which to me and you was both kind of a no-brainer as we were trying to think about our Commander MVP, our most valuable player.
As we've been talking about all season, there were not a lot of high points, highlight standouts. So
And you know, it goes to we had a lot of injured stars.
Right.
So when your best players are all injured, it doesn't really leave that much. But even still, you got to think, even if our playmakers were healthy, this guy's performance only would have been better, right?
Oh,
if
absolutely.
Terry, if McCaffrey, if Jaden, if Ertz, if they all would have just stayed healthy, I didn't even say anything offensive line or obviously Austin Eckler, but if they all would have stayed healthy, his season only would have been better.
And as we've been talking about all season, it was a season of ifs. Like, if they would have been healthy, we would have been a great, solid team.
Yeah.
But if your team can't stay healthy, you're screwed. And we certainly suffered those consequences, and it was unfortunate.
Yeah. So Deebo Samuel gets the Command the Commute Commander MVP award. For those of you that couldn't see that coming, congratulations to him. We will be sending all of our award winners a suitcase full of money and goodies. And no, I'm kidding.
They just get our appreciation as fans. That's all they get.
One day when we're huge and everybody wants to be on our podcast, they'll listen back to our first podcast here where we're like in the slums. Our video quality has been shit. And before we have figured it all out, you know, people will be going back and be like, oh man, listen to this. But now
the days of yesteryear.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the Commies. That's what I got for the Commie Awards, Mike. What do you think? I love it.
I think
it's perfect little ending. It's a nice little recap to the season. You know, we kind of got our little.
I think we did a wonderful job choosing the winners of these awards.
And we have to tip our hats off. We couldn't have done this without ChatGPT. You know that?
That's the real MVP, right?
You think I'm coming up with all this shit myself? Now, I will say, me and my ChatGPT, we're partners when it comes to our creativity. So,
like 90-10, 60-30. 75-25. 95-5. 99.
Well, let's go 55-45 ChatGPT. But we're hands on. Honestly, a lot of my ChatGPT conversations, I feel like I'm correcting it. Like, no, do this. No, do this.
Computers are only
No,
so
think
smart.
this way. Yeah, they'll figure it out. And guess what? As ChatGPT gets better, we will get better. So
stands to reason,
yeah,
right?
Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
I mean, if they survived our first 30 episodes, I think they can stick with us.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Before we let you go, I felt it be fitting right now to just, and you don't know this,
of course,
I always put you on a spot.
I know.
Before we sign off, because it's going to be a little bit of time here before we log back on. Do you have any predictions for free agency? A position that we might go after, a player that we might go after. We've got the 7th pick in the draft. So I think our first episode, when we pick back up, is going to be a free agency episode. And then shortly thereafter, we'll have the draft. Do you have any predictions, or maybe not predictions, but what you'd like us to do in terms of free agency? Is
not what I would like us to do, but I would not be surprised if we traded away that 7th pick, though I think we should keep it and utilize it. I wouldn't be surprised if we traded it away. Free agency, I don't know who to tell you who we might go after. I mean, tight end, obviously, with, Ertz, but tight end, depending on what they do with wide receiver, with Debo, if they re-sign him or whatever, maybe there. I don't know. It's
we've determined that we need depth.
After quite frankly, we know the shitty season that we had at 5-12. I don't think there's anything that we can't not consider in retooling this team.
Just to continue to build around.
Because the only constant you truly have is JD.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever it takes to build a winning franchise around him, better do it now in year 3 of DQ, or DQ's going to be gone, and then we're going to be going through this rebuilding cycle yet again. So we have to get it right this off season.
Yeah, this is a very, very important off season. I agree with you. I'd like us to use that 7th pick. I'd like us to use it on an edge rusher. I actually wouldn't mind it if we spent our entire draft on the defensive side of the ball. Build around this new quarterback.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. Our defense was absolute garbage this year, so yeah, load us up.
Load us up on defense with a bunch of young players. Seriously, every single pick. Don't reach for a defensive player, but
the stars on the defense, like Wagner, they're not getting any younger. No. So you got to bring in marquee young college players who can take their place.
Yeah. I'd like us to go heavy defense in the draft and heavy offense in free agency. Spend that cat money on some offensive stars. I wouldn't mind going tight end in free agency. Figure out who you like out there and go get them. I think one more offensive lineman.
Yeah,
and he doesn't need to necessarily be a dead giveaway.
I mean, earlier today I sent you the graphic on the cap space, and we're definitely top 10 in available cap space. I don't know the number right now because my phone is.
We got plenty of it.
But we've got plenty of space available.
And I like being in when you've got that quarterback. It's like one of those things. Like when you got the quarterback, he's your guy, and you got to spend that money now because you're not going to have it.
You have to spend it to build around him, because we've seen how many times throughout the league.
He's about to be the highest paid quarterback in the league in 2 or 3 years. And
you have to build around the young quarterbacks while they're young so they can make their Super Bowl runs, because that window for any team, for any quarterback, it's a finite window of at most, 3, maybe 5 years you have to make a legitimate run, unless you're like a standout team like Kansas City. You have such a small window to be successful, or you're done till the next cycle.
Well, we're seeing what happened with like up in Buffalo. You know, they built, they found their guy in Allen. Maybe it occurred to them a season late, because he didn't come in as a rookie and blow it up. But by year 3 or 4, if you hadn't figured it out that he was awesome, then shame on you.
Yeah.
But we have figured it out in year 1. And why they're not spending that money, I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see a tight end in free agency. We know we need running backs.
But they're, as we've talked about, running backs are kind of a dime a dozen. So I'm not so much worried about the run.
I'm not worried about it either, but I'm just saying that they need them. Bill is the only guy that we got under contract. Whether or not they get Rodriguez, McNichols, and then we have that same conversation we were having about Ertz. It's the same conversation about Eckler. It's one of those things I got to think nobody else is going to sign him because he's coming off of that injury, unless there's a coach that he's worked with in the past that wants to take a shot. But I don't think he's moved away. He's still hometown, or he's still local here. So from what I've seen online and from his social media, it looks like he's going to try to make a comeback. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But all right, well, let's wrap things up here. That's what she said. Appreciate all of you all season long. It's been a blast. It really has been fun starting up this podcast.
We really have enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a nice addition to our game day experience, and we hope that it's an addition to yours as well. So thank you all very much. We're going to take a couple weeks off here, a month off, and we'll be back for season 2 of the Command the Commute podcast.
I said, give me a hell yeah!
Thanks for listening to the Command the Commute podcast. I now welcome you to crack a cold beer, cook up some chicken wings, and enjoy the football game. Because the Commanders, the team, the Redskins, or whatever else you call them, is gonna kick some ass. If this is a home game, Bob and Michael will be in the Red Zone lot at Northwest Stadium. We encourage you to come to our tailgate and say hello. If you are still listening to the podcast, wow, you are an extremely loyal listener. I wonder how much longer you'll stay. Hey, I've got a question. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? You've got mail. Goodbye.